This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
I'll call to order the Public Safety Building Committee meeting of April 22nd. The meeting is being recorded, and all but Cindy Palmer are present.
And Charlie Kinnicky.
Oh, right.
He did reach out and he said he's not going to be able to make it.
Right,
Cindy,
thank you.
And Cindy did.
I said Cindy. So I was neglecting Charlie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Open time to the public. Seeing none, we'll move on to the review of minutes. Chief, did you by chance print out an agenda? Did you by chance print out the agenda for today?
No.
Me neither. I don't have it. Does
Let me
anyone?
take a look on my time.
Okay. Maybe you could just help
Yeah.
me with the order of things.
Honestly, I don't know that I saw the minutes. Did I? Maybe I did.
Well, John sent out March 1st minute, March,
I have it here.
I have a copy of the April 1 minutes.
April 1. I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Okay.
And I thought, did you take some minutes for?
For the forum, no.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, April.
We talked
1.
about that and we decided it wasn't necessary.
So on the agenda, Chris, we have a review of minutes, April 1, 8, and 10.
8, right.
So the
Okay.
10th would be the
forum.
Forum, you wouldn't need to have.
Right, okay, so I didn't know. I put that on in the
Yeah.
event that we would have
Right.
minutes.
So April
Copies of
1 we
April 1.
should.
Now, you did take minutes for April 8th,
I
correct?
wasn't here.
Okay, Chris, you're the one who took
I
minutes.
think I tried to take a few minutes for that, but I did not pull them together, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. So let us just today review those for the first, and then at our next meeting, we'll review, if Chris has them ready, we'll review the 8th.
Yeah, and I think most of that was just for comments on the PowerPoint, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Has the committee had a chance to read this, or do we need to allow a few minutes?
Pretty much there, I think.
May I have a
Motion
Motion.
to accept the minutes.
second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is land negotiations update.
Okay, Scott, do you have something for us?
The select board is meeting in executive session tomorrow night,
Okay.
so
Good luck.
that's the extent.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all we
we are moving
needed to
now.
know. Great, okay, thank you.
Then the next is discuss the mailer content and layout.
So,
And review the forum.
yeah. All right, so this is the latest version. Chief, what did you say was the change?
What I
you found on
believe
this?
was added was on the
Picture there.
the reverse side, the back side of the firehouse and the, and their
Oh,
bunk.
Now, the
yes.
one thing I did notice, just today looking at it, the moldy ceiling tiles,
Yeah,
that's from the fire station.
Right,
right.
they've got that misplaced.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I'm the one that threw in that photo as an idea, but looking at it, I don't think it really adds to the brochure,
Right.
frankly.
No,
I think
Yes, I mean, we could
add some-
probably just
I would
take
tell
that
them
out of
to
there.
remove those ceiling tiles, so. I don't think it really adds as much as I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's in the wrong spot, but nonetheless, I think what you've got for fire station photos are probably better than the moldy ceiling tiles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That wasn't, the molding ceiling tiles were in the video, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Yes.
So that was effective enough, but I think,
Yeah.
I agree to
You wanna
just
remove it?
get rid of that.
On page 1 where the address and stamp, so there's a spelling error in workplace.
Yeah, well, we need a K.
Oh, yeah.
We're missing a K.
Oh, yeah.
So which is gonna be the, well, I guess it depends how you open it, right? Is this supposed to be the front, this?
Right.
This will have the
This
address.
is the, yes, the stamp and mailer, the mailing
Yeah, so
address,
that's gonna
yeah.
be the front there.
Go back to an old comment I had, there's no word on a single thing about the town of Southampton. I mean, we know, so familiar with what these old buildings are, but I think most of them, not most, a lot of new people in town wouldn't recognize these two buildings.
Right.
When they open it up, they would probably recognize the fire station, but other than that, I don't think a lot of this is recognizable to most of the people in town. I don't know where we can fit the word Southampton in here, but.
Well, let's see, could we remove the first two lines, these 161 and 120-year-old buildings, and say that Southampton Police and Fire Departments or...
You probably want Southampton on the front, right? You could just add it in somewhere. You know, there seems like enough room where you could just add Southampton somewhere.
Well, you could maybe make the workplace safe for Southampton's public safety staff
Yeah,
and
You
community.
could even put right across the top, town of Southampton, and shrink the size of this.
Yeah.
And say the same stuff.
You can make the font a little bit smaller maybe, and then it would fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be good.
I like that they've got the video tour, the scanning of the QR code down there too. That's what they had said they would do.
You could, that would be as if we're talking to the town. Town of Southampton, now is the time to make the workplace safe.
But then that would mean just making that font a little bit smaller so it
Yeah,
fits in,
yeah.
yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could be better.
I also think that this font could be reduced to whatever size this is. It seems bolder than necessary. Both pages seem bolder than necessary to me. But to address the text on this,
Repeat what you said, Christina, take out 161 and 120, is that?
well, not necessarily. I was going to suggest that those be removed and put Southampton, you know, these, or the Southampton Fire and Police Departments are not safe, are not up to code. I think one comment you made, Chris, is that it's not a matter of no longer being safe or up to code. They never were.
They never were.
So,
Yeah.
just to make a statement, they are not safe, and they are not up to code,
They're not secure for the police.
right? And not, yeah, so I think that we need to be, perhaps come up with some very precise wording.
I think my only thought too was on just having the years there. I don't know, the 161 and 120, given that when you open the flap here, you've got the years again already in there. 1948, 1971, and then 1904. So we're talking some of the age in the
Right.
interior. I don't know.
What if we were to put something like these over century-year-old?
Yes, centuries
Buildings.
old, yes, these centuries-old buildings are not safe, secure, up to code,
These historic buildings?
something, yeah, okay. Something like that. Because I think we allude to the age on the inside, I don't know that you need it here too.
It's actually, it's on that same page.
Yeah, also, yeah, right, so you've got,
Right there.
yeah, you've got it built in.
Yes.
The little
Yes.
Twice on the
square
side.
down there, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think you could do it, but these historic buildings are not,
Are not safe, secure, or up to code? Is that language, do we want to add secure in there?
I think you could.
What do you feel, Chief, about the fire station? Would you consider it secure or not?
Yeah, I mean, the doors are locked, but,
You're,
you know,
yeah. So that would be more a matter of the police.
There's different levels of security too.
Right,
So
right.
interior security could be bad as well. For instance, your medicine cabinets, are those,
Yeah.
should there be a different level of security on those?
right, I mean, all our narcotics are secured in the ambulance behind a locked cabinet, you know? So, I mean, you gotta unlock the door to get in the station and then unlock the cabinet, so.
So I'm just trying to conceptualize this. Do you have additional narcotics that are
No.
stored?
No.
Where only certain members of the fire department have access to?
No.
No, they're all,
No.
everything's in the ambulance?
Yes. And they have to, they are inspected every day, and there's a book they have to sign every day that, you know, they've checked it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe we don't want to put secure. Do we want, if not that, is there anything else we want to state besides up to code and safe?
I mean, the inadequate space.
functional?
Functional, that was, yeah,
Not
Ian's word.
Are not safe, functional? Probably don't, but ADA compliant? Is that, how big a factor is that?
I suppose that's part of code, right?
Oh, sure, sure.
So it's safe, functional, up to code, whatever. Then this inadequate utility infrastructure, I'm not sure what they were driving at, or could we say maybe cost, I mean, it's costly utility bills, right? But that doesn't go with these are not, they are not something.
I think they may have been referencing like
IT?
IT and you know, where we charge our flashlights and the overloading of
Yeah.
outlets maybe.
So if we continued with the theory though, of these buildings are not, whatever, safe, up to code, functional, how would you phrase that part about what you just said there, and/or, you know, they're not cost efficient, heating wise.
Energy efficient?
Energy efficient, that could be one maybe. And then however we rephrase the technology one. I mean, I think if you had 4 or 5 bullet points like that, that would make your point, you know. I mean, it's there, but I think you could say it more concisely.
Well, the big ones are safe and functional. I don't know how detailed you want to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
27 adjectives in a row, you forget
Yeah.
where you're going.
But I think the point was made at the forum that night, though, when we talked, I think it was Chief Fasoli that talked about the heating of the fire station and having those overhead heaters and no insulation or whatever. So somebody picked up on the fact that this must be pretty big utility bills. I think that question came up, or the discussion
Denise
came up.
brought
So
that up.
wouldn't hurt to put in there something about, you know, something about
cost effective.
energy efficient or something, something like that. Something.
Okay, so we've tossed out a number of characteristics. So we do need to be able to give them exactly the replacement for this, the exact wording.
Right.
So is the committee in agreement that it should say these historic buildings?
Yep.
Okay.
These historic buildings are inefficient, no longer safe or functional.
Not safe or function, or
Not safe, comma, functional, or up to code, and have inadequate.
well, let's talk about that inadequate utility infrastructure. Will people know what that means? I don't. I mean, I wouldn't offhand know exactly what's being referred to there. You suggested, Chief, that it was the IT infrastructure.
That and, you know, the utilities, like I think the overloaded power outlets, I think that's probably what they're referencing there. That's what I'm thinking that they were referencing.
Right. But don't
By
you,
looking at the photos that they presented, that. right?
Right. But it's not necessarily language that,
I think safe, functional, energy efficient, and up to code is adequate for the, you know, I don't know how much more.
right,
Mark is
so
right.
just period.
But could you leave creating liability risks at the bottom? Or no?
I think that's important.
Okay, so leaving that in, but removing, this is a question for the committee, inadequate utility infrastructure? Or rewording that? Or not?
Take it out.
Yeah, I think take it out.
Put something, put up the other things you were talking about.
Okay.
What Ian just rattled off, I think would be safe, functional, energy efficient, whatever you just said, and up to code.
How do you have it?
So what I have written, and what I'll write is what I'll tell them if that's what you want. So
Yes.
just make sure you tell me exactly how we
Exactly.
want it in order.
Yeah.
These historic buildings are not safe, up to code, functional, or energy efficient.
And create liability risks for all, or,
Create liability, do we have to say risks? Is that a double liability and
true.
risk are the same
Yeah,
thing?
that's good.
and
What do we got?
liability.
Just liability? Or liability risks?
Creating,
It's redundant.
Create liability risk is okay.
but it is redundant. Could I ask who might, oh, I see my pen right there by Mark.
Oh, I think it would put the card.
Yeah, thanks.
One of those suggestions for Chamberlain, should we sort of say these police and fire stations are, or these old police and fire station buildings, we're no one here to tell you that we're asking anyone to support a new building. I guess we can't, but just, I guess that's sort of, it's inclined, you know, we are so familiar with it, but does this tell you that the police and fire station are old? Is that what we're talking about?
Or even what those pictures are.
Well, it's
Yeah,
down
that's
there.
down there in the small.
Yeah, I guess it is, yes, okay. Okay, yes, all right. Yeah, that covers that.
Yeah, and again, I think if there's a way to reduce the font, I mean, if there's a way not to have the liability risks go into that little box.
When they originally presented this with me in their office, Becky Nimmons explained that was put in that box to try to make the liability risks jump out at the eye.
Oh.
Just, that's how she described it. That's why that's in that box, is to make it pop. As well as the different font colors for safe and up to code. Just to provide you with the reasons why they did that. I recall her talking about that.
Okay, so that's an intentional design
Yes, yes.
decision on their part.
And do we want to call attention to the liability? I'm not sure.
True,
Town insurance rate's gonna go up.
that is a question that we should answer.
I wonder
Do we
if,
want to focus on liability, or do we want to focus on safe up to code?
The liability is maybe scarier.
As in, like, it's something that might influence people because of liability, maybe?
Well, let's get rid of the word risks. Do we agree on that? It being redundant.
Yeah, I think it is redundant. If you just strike the word risk, does it stand alone? Creating liability for all.
And I think that the listing safe, functional, energy efficient, or up to code, that would be my choice of rank choice. But again, that's just, That's just one opinion.
Do we use up to code or code compliant? What sounds better?
I don't know if it makes much difference to a layperson, but what would be more sense to a layperson, I think it means, technically means the same thing. But so we're changing it just to almost bullet points. These historic buildings are not safe, not up to code. And then we're going to say
Functional, energy efficient.
functional or energy efficient, creates liability risk, creates liability for all.
So you're suggesting that as a yet another bullet point? Mark, you're saying?
Well, I just, I'm trying to rehash what we've said.
Right,
So we're
but-
change these to bullet points.
If you change them to bullet points, right,
Yeah.
okay.
It is
Okay,
bullet.
so let's ask that. What are members' opinions about doing it with commas, as it's done here, or as with bullet points?
I feel bullets present better.
Okay. Okay, so,
Yeah, I agree.
okay,
And I think what they would have to do then, if they can reduce this font up top, so that you put not right next to the R not, colon, and then your bullets, safe,
Right.
whatever, functional, energy efficient, up to code. Could that work?
That puts the liability thing as an awkward thing though, because there's not a not that would precede that. So if you said,
Could you put that
these
earlier?
historic buildings,
R semicolon. Not.
yeah, are semicolon, then the bullet point, no longer safe, no longer up to code, no longer functional, and
Create.
no longer energy efficient, and create liability.
Creates, yeah.
Were we gonna change no longer to not, though?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it, Chief?
No, I don't.
Okay, okay.
We gotta come down with something.
Yeah, all right,
It keeps on
so-
changing every time we go by it.
Okay, so these historic buildings, you've got that?
Yes.
Are not safe?
No,
R colon,
R semicolon.
and then your bullets are not safe, not
Not-
functional, not up to code,
Not energy
not
efficient.
efficient.
Not energy efficient.
Okay, hold on, I had not safe, not functional, not up to code.
Not energy efficient,
All right.
and
creates liability for all.
create potential liability or something.
So are we gonna go after that last bullet point, not energy efficient, comma, and then and with that last sentence, or are we just gonna have that last sentence?
As a bullet point.
That could still be a bullet.
They still want that as a bullet? Okay.
Let's, yeah, so creates liability for all.
Yeah.
Does it create liability for all? I suppose.
And do we want and in front of creates liability?
No, that's just another bullet point.
Okay, creates liability for all.
Is it creates or create? I'm not hearing you. Create liability or creates?
Let's, yeah, get rid of the S.
Because we're
Create.
talking about both buildings.
The
So,
buildings are not.
The buildings
And-
create liability. So
Create, I
it
think
would be
without an
create,
S.
right?
Yeah, without an S, I think.
I'm not a member.
Okay, read us what you have, Chief.
All right. These historic buildings are, semicolon, not safe, not functional, not up to code, not energy efficient, and create liability for all. Or do we don't want and?
Correct.
That's it, so.
That's just another
Yep.
bullet point.
All right, that's the bullet point. Okay.
I think we've hashed that over enough. Now, so that's our decision about this quadrant.
Can I ask one thing before you go too far?
Yes.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Just in terms of the multiple colors here, what do you think about that? I mean, I understand that they're trying to accentuate things, but should it be like 4 different colors of writing, or can we have it maybe just 2? I don't know if it's,
Yeah, I'm on board with your idea.
I mean, we got black and we got red and orange and blue and, I don't know, I personally would prefer 2, I think, myself. I mean, when you look at it, I don't know.
Can I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
These are going to be mailed out. You have the time between someone takes out of their mailbox and puts it into the trash to get their attention, which is about 3 to 5 seconds. So that's the standard that you need to look at the outside. If you want more information, then they can open it up and you've already got an attentive reader. So, yeah, you want to make it as simple, easy to read as possible.
I think
So,
it's more professional, what you're suggesting.
Just maybe, I don't know which color, I mean, I don't mind whether it's blue or black and blue, whichever we want to do, but I don't know, or black and red for that matter, I don't care, but I mean, I think to have both the red and the orange just kind of jar me a little bit when I'm reading it, so. I think I understand what they're trying to do, but I'm not sure that would make me want to look at it differently, I don't know, maybe.
well, so how does the committee feel about just removing those boxes of color?
What?
Well, all the purple or the blue and the orange. Can we just remove?
I think they might have put that there for a reason.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's the purple.
it's for the
I don't know why they put
address.
it there, but I imagine they did it for a purpose. and
I
that
think
was-
it's for the fire and
fire.
blue is for the police, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, to me, it's more on the outside thing. I don't, see, on the front one where it says safe in red, I don't mind that.
That's good.
That would
too.
attract my attention, I think. But I think this kind of is a bit distracting with so many colors, that's all, just in terms of the lines, the lines of color. I wasn't talking about the box, but the narrative itself, if we could have,
Well, if we had the bulleted language in red,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
To
And
match
the
the
first
color.
sentence in black, maybe?
Yeah, because that might match the other cover, the other half of the cover. It's black and red right now, maybe?
And keep the bottom right corner in the similar box like it is. I wouldn't change that. Except liability risk probably won't fit in there.
that won't be part of that box
Yeah.
anymore, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. And that way, by not having liability risk in that box, they could actually shrink that box a little bit.
Yes.
So it gives you more room for your narrative up above there, your bullet points. It
I agree.
could just resize that box just a little bit.
All right.
All right, so let us just go back and make sure the chief has the exact wording for this. So you have the town of Southampton, or town of Southampton?
Yes,
Town or the? Town of Southampton.
I would say, I'd leave the off of there.
Yep.
So that it's like we're addressing, you know,
Oh,
we're
you're,
speaking to, hey, town of Southampton, now is the time.
okay. So have you got that, chief?
I do. Now, do we want Town of Southampton, now is the time on the same line? Or under, is now the time beneath it?
I'd say now is the time underneath it.
Okay,
Would get my vote.
all right.
And perhaps Town of Southampton and some, what, we've got two very distinct fonts here. Would Town of Southampton be small or
Oh.
larger?
No, I think Chris suggested making that a smaller font and having Town of Southampton larger, right, Chris? Is that what you were saying earlier? Because I have a note to shrink this font right here.
Yes,
Shrink
Right.
this font.
yes.
I mean, it could be a little bit like the now is the time. I think Southampton and now is the time would be the same font. I don't know. Now is the time.
Yeah,
And And after Town of Southampton, is there gonna be any punctuation marks?
No.
I would say colon, but maybe not.
I don't think you need them, really.
Yeah, I would say, I would vote for no.
So now is the time with their 3 little bullets. And then
Mhm.
just reduce the size of that, make the workplace safe a little bit.
All right. And then, put the K in workplace. Correct spelling of workplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a technical question. Do we need to leave room for return address? Is that a requirement from the post office? I'm just thinking about letters of residence and if they don't have a return. Is that?
I think they would
I'm
know
asking
that.
how
I
to
think that I think they would know.
Yeah, I would
You
think
know,
they would.
I think they would have known that,
Flyers.
yeah.
That was just-
I don't think it will be returned.
I think you're right, yeah. I think, that
I
was-
think it'll be more occupant, so it won't be.
yeah, right, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so let's now go into the interior of the packet, right? So we're all set on the exterior, back in, now in the interior. As of right now, the only notes I have is to remove the tiles, the fire department's tiles photo.
On the bottom half, it doesn't say police station, back of the 1904 building, it doesn't say 1904 police building. Just a suggestion. At the top it says existing fire department building, describes it, and then in the lower half of the thing it says back of 1904 building, basement and entry. Doesn't really refer to the police.
Yes, let's indeed put police basement and main entry. Building, basement and, oh, no, that's not.
Police basement.
Basement main entry of police station.
Does basement have to be there, though? Let's see, back of 1904.
I don't see why basement, I mean, we've
Yeah.
occupied the whole building now.
Right,
It's not a
police,
basement is below ground, we have nothing
Right.
below
Right.
ground there.
Yeah,
Well-
this would be ground level.
Ground level, yeah.
so back of 1904 building, main police entry?
Okay.
Main police station entry.
Yeah, police
the only-
station,
Only,
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it is the only entry.
yeah.
I guess that's true.
So police station entry.
Back of 1904 building, police station entry. Okay. Okay. Before I forget, they wanted me to ask, so down below on this, on the same page, it says paid for a committee
Yeah.
info here, so what does the committee want? Do you want me to reach out to the person supporting this, financially supporting this, and see if, do we need to declare who's paying for this?
You do have to declare who's paying for it, but it can simply say by a
Private citizen?
private citizen. So I guess it would it be, could we choose that, or would we want to approach the donor and ask if he would like to be publicly acknowledged?
I think out of courtesy, we should approach the owner.
Who's the
ask.
owner?
The person that's supporting this is the owner of Paisanos, financially. He and, I think, a partner.
Same vein, do we need to say this came from the building committee? Good. I don't know. I don't know if it makes a
Yeah.
difference, but I don't know if we should.
Maybe Scott should weigh in on that. Do you know that whether we need to state here that this is a brochure that is being sent by the committee?
Well, it's not being sent by the committee technically, right?
Who is it being sent? Well,
It's being sent by
It's an advocacy. It's a little bit early because, when you have a ballot question, there's usually a couple different sides, and you be able to raise money, usually you have to register those. I'm not sure what the rules would be on this specifically this early, so I'd have to look it up.
But if you ended up putting in the name of the business that's donating, that can give people the impression that they're sending it out, which we don't want to do. They're paying for it, but they're not the ones that are
Right.
Or
responsible for getting it out the door, so.
Was he prepared by?
Seems like we ought to
Another
have
paragraph
something.
in there.
And there should be something on who paid for it, where it comes from.
Right, that has to be true. And there's space for that allowed on the bottom of the info.
You could do it in 2 lines. You could say prepared by the PSBC, funded by
With support from,
either private donor or an anonymous donor, or name them.
give us a few seconds to research that, maybe in the,
Is the printer doing this for a reduced rate?
I have no idea.
I think so, yes. I mean, I believe so. It's only $2,500.
We may want to give them a prop too. Maybe the 3rd line, printing provided by.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, I think John has extended
I
himself to
believe
us,
he
and I
has.
think that we should be grateful and acknowledge that.
Because how many households are in Southampton?
2,500-ish,
2,500? And mailing,
something like that.
Wow.
and so yes, he clearly is. Basically, I think, it sounds like, they maybe the donor paid for most of the postage, right?
Yeah, I think we should reference them somehow.
We should definitely acknowledge them.
Yeah.
And where would that go?
Yeah, good question.
Getting bigger and bigger.
Well, if you,
Guess I could go on the back side somewhere.
Maybe a small font. too.
Oh, yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, small font. Great.
Would there be room under the 2 photos on this back cover thing?
Sure.
well, if this page is redesigned some, then yes.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I mean, you could take a little bit of the sky out of the fire station picture.
Right.
Push it up a little bit.
so you could. Yeah, and then I think it seems like you'd have to say that we're the ones that were responsible for preparing it.
Yeah, so 3 things, I
It feels
think,
like-
prepared by Public Safety Building Committee,
Funded
Funded.
by.
funded by,
X and
and,
And,
printed by,
or,
yeah.
or
Either an anonymous donor or name them.
yeah, well, they'll decide, the
or
owners.
developed by Valley Marketing, maybe? So, prepared by us,
Designed
funded by
or
somebody,
printed.
and developed by
Developed and printed by.
Yeah.
Valley Marketing.
Or could we say, let's see, with thanks to Valley Martin, no.
That should sort of be the last thing we say. So maybe it should be on the bottom inside. I don't know what's gonna be the order of which people see this.
Well, if this is the postage on the mailing, and this, your address is gonna be here, you flip it open, right? Then maybe you turn it over to see if it's far. I think it would be hard to put anything more at the bottom of this insert page, it's gonna be too full.
Well, let's get rid of the tile.
We're gonna get rid of the tile photo, yeah. Now, we have 2 QR codes here. We've got a QR code on the front, which is to see the video tour. And then in the body here, we've got another one that says, find out how you can help, more information and meeting dates.
That'd be the public website.
That's good.
Right, I mean, all of this should direct them pretty much to the public safety building page, I think. I mean, the QR code and the videos on the public safety building page. Anything else about some of the other documents that we have are there.
Right, well, the QR code for the video, will that just take them right to the
To the video.
link on the
On YouTube?
public safety
On
page?
on the website,
Yeah.
yeah.
Take them right to the video.
It can go right to the video, but then that is on the public safety page, but they can also go to YouTube separately and just find it on YouTube, I suppose, yeah.
So do we want only one
That's what I wanted to-
QR code and then just say to see the video and to gather more information or
That's what I'm wondering,
research
because I
more?
think if you're gonna, if anybody's gonna scan a QR code, are they gonna do it two separate codes? I mean, I don't know, I don't use it myself, so I don't know how prevalent it is for people to scan a code more than once for the same information kind of thing. Feels
I
like,
think it's the same code.
yeah, I mean, it feels like we ought to be able to have one QR code and direct them to the location that has the most information, which would be our website page.
I think some people would like to see the video and they're not interested in reading.
Right, but when you open up the
Research.
website, it's the very first thing. The video is the very, very first thing. But they might not read the rest of the document, is that what you're saying? Possible.
Well, how about having the text explain that the QR code is to see the video and to find out more about how you can help, well, put in the text, viewing the video at that single QR code along with the other information.
And maybe not necessarily help, but be more informed, you know, so to see the video and to see the video and
To become more informed, is that?
yes, or become more informed or
Yeah, and to find out more. Yeah,
right.
to see the video and to find out more, scan the
So when people
QR.
open up the website now for our page, right at the very top, they can either go to the HKT presentation for that night, so it's the forum presentation and video, or they can go to the video right there.
That's good.
So I kind of tend to want to leave the QR code to this particular page on our website.
Okay, so only one.
But can't we
QR.
say in the text to see the video and to,
Same videos, yeah.
and
And
for more
And
information?
more information, sure, because down below is, all sorts of other.
All right, and do we want to leave that on the, do we want to leave the QR code on the front cover, or do we want to have it where it is here? Where do we want it?
I'd leave it on the front. There's already space there for it.
Yeah, there's space for it on the inside too, so.
Well, you could put your thanks
Yeah,
in that spot.
yeah. That would be an alternate, yeah.
Yeah, I think you do something like, to see the video and more information, scan here. Something like that.
Right.
That's the front, you're saying, so we're going to remove the QR code in the back.
I mean, it looks like there's probably two separate QR codes, so I think what I'm saying is to have only one QR code, right?
Yes, yeah.
So maybe we don't need to say prepared by the Public Safety Building Committee. I'm going to retract what I just said. Because if we're going to do, at the bottom somewhere, we're going to do designed and printed by, or whatever we said, designed and printed by Valley Marketing.
Yeah.
And then I think I would put them first, and then funded by X. Okay. Then maybe with a QR code, we could say I don't know, it'd be a lot to fit in the public safety building committee. But maybe we could just say, scan here to see the video and PSBC news or something like that? PSBC updates information?
Still doesn't really identify us as the ones who developed it. It leaves it a little bit up in the inconclusive.
True. But I think Valley Marketing should come ahead of it, though.
So if the QR code is taken out here, this will leave essentially a box for this information to go in. A font could be chosen where
Very small.
all three designations could go in.
Yeah.
Very small.
That's fine.
So I would think that if we're going to have the three, I would think that the first one might be prepared by the Public Safety Building Committee. That identifies us. Designed and printed or whatever, developed and printed by Valley Marketing and funding provided.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important that people know who it's coming from.
I think
Yeah.
it's mandatory, actually. Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Be careful with saying funded by, they won't, oh, he's gonna fund the fire station?
Okay, so how,
I mean, people can expect it.
Yeah, that's true.
Printing paper.
Can you say an anonymous donor?
well, we need to differentiate, according to Mark, of what is being funded, or define what's being
No
funded.
short cost.
This flyer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the flyer
This flyer funded by an anonymous donor.
or
something.
the Paisano, yeah. This flyer funded by, is that, okay?
Privately funded, just so they know it's not public money.
Here's what we need to
Yeah.
fund the construction. I'm thinking.
But Chief, you are gonna go over and ask Con, right?
Yes, or I'll.
So that'll determine
Yeah.
what goes in there. Did we discuss at one point whether this photograph that's behind the ceiling tiles is informative? I think Chief Illingsworth, you commented on that. Does this offer our viewers any particular information?
I think my response to that was it was a messy office.
Yeah, that our staff needs to be tidier?
This is being recorded.
Crowded.
Oh boy, I'm gonna hear it. I know I'm gonna get it now.
Crowded? Is
Crowded.
that what it
It is,
implies?
yes, it is crowded.
Cramped.
It says
Cramped,
shared
okay.
office space.
Yeah.
Okay, so the text, water damaged and moldy ceiling tiles, that text
picture's
needs to be,
going.
I know, but so does the text need to be struck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what they've got is shared office space for all, that's what they've got.
Right, and okay, so that's fine, then nothing else has to go there, just that has to be. Both the caption for the moldy tiles and the picture have to be removed.
So along with that then, limited equipment storage, is that what we're showing is limited equipment storage, or we're showing, if that's the issue where we don't have enough?
There's not enough photos to show limited equipment storage, I think.
But that's what it says for
Oh, the
photo
photos.
They're putting for
2.
your flashlights.
What is a more accurate caption for photo 2, Chief?
Photo 2, that's the
The flashlights.
flashlights. That's the infrastructure, right? That's the Utility infrastructure.
inadequate,
Utility infrastructure.
inadequate utility infrastructure.
Yeah, I think that's
Does
what we
that
should put
work?
there,
That's
yes.
just better, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
I don't mean to nitpick this too much, but when you read this, the bottom one here with respect to the police station, the structure lacks appropriate security measures, has an inadequate utility infrastructure, and
Okay.
does not comply with current codes or standards. Then to me, that's fine. Then it says, these fail to meet, and then later on it says, they don't support. I don't think those pronouns fit.
And professionals misspoke.
Yes. Missing an S. I think that should be worded
Yeah, professionals typo.
somewhat differently. You know what I mean?
Well, and would you
These
give...
and those, these and they don't refer to anything.
Yeah. So with the fact that we talk again about appropriate security, infrastructure, not comply with, we've got that on the back part. Do we want to say something else?
Yeah,
In here.
because that's
'Cause again,
reiterating what has been said already.
I mean, maybe there's something about the last two sentences that very starts, so I agree, these fail. So,
Though,
You could say the building fails to meet.
yeah, and I think, I don't know why they're only talking about the police building per se. I mean, it's both buildings, really.
But they're addressing the fire station up on the top half of the
Oh, yeah.
page.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
bottom half is the police station.
Yes. Right. And personally, I think that's good. It should be kind of addressed independently.
But I think you could say both buildings fail to meet industry and professional standards and don't support
Yeah,
employment, recruitment, or retention.
that would work.
But I don't know if there's something else we want to say about the police station itself. I mean, if we take out that first sentence, which to me is redundant to what we put on the back cover, what could we put in there instead of that? I mean, under the fire department, they didn't really do any lengthy explanation. It's more just a description of the photos.
Right, and then you have a description of the photos here below.
Right, which
So,
is the shared office space, the utility infrastructure, I'm not sure. if
So-
that- Yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, so should those captions for the photos be moved to the top and then moved down to both buildings? Neither facility meets industry or professional standards, and nor do they support employee recruitment and retention. I don't know. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is, should we just identify the photos right under back of 1904 building, and after they've been identified, then go on to say the two sentences about both buildings?
So move up the shared office space and those, just move that up to right under the main entry part?
Which is essentially what they've done for the fire department, right? They've just identified the photos
Right.
1, 2, and 3. So underneath the main police entry, identify the 3 photos and then make that collective statement that you just suggested,
Just make those
Chris.
two sentences that really then, at the end of that that responds to both, so that these buildings, or both buildings, fail to meet industry and professional standards and don't support employee recruitment or retention. I think
Fine.
those are 2 good sentences.
Yep.
So we get rid of sentence 1, move up the 3 little descriptions of the photos.
Okay, hold on. What are you referring to when you say sentence 1?
Under main entry, the structure lacks appropriate
Structure lacks-
security,
strike that
inadequate
whole
utility,
So we're not gonna, we're gonna remove those entirely?
Yeah, because
That's
we've got
been
them on the
stated
back,
Just the
elsewhere.
first sentence.
All right,
because we've got them on the back cover as bullet points, right? So,
okay.
Then say, these buildings fail?
Or both buildings.
both-
Actually,
both-
security wasn't part of our,
Both buildings, well,
Bullets.
it was for a minute, then we got rid of it,
was it?
security.
On this page here, security wasn't one of the things we criticized, was it?
We tossed it out, we talked about it, but then we tossed it out, we didn't include it in the
Yeah,
final.
we didn't want to do security.
So maybe we should leave that there somehow.
Well, we can leave part of that sentence there, so. Okay. Ready?
I'm ready, yep.
Okay. Under the main entry part, we got rid of basement, right? Too.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right.
Main police entry.
So, these structures lack appropriate security measures. I'm just reading.
Well,
We don't
we're
want to
getting-
combine.
We're getting rid of those, right?
Thought we were striking the first sentence?
Well, I'm just reacting to what Barry was saying here,
Yeah.
so just let me try something.
Okay, I won't write anything.
These structures lack appropriate security measures, comma, fail to meet industry and professional standards, and don't support employee recruitment or retention. That can still be the summation of the problem with the buildings. If you want to put in the security measures, that would be one way to include it.
Yes.
So what that would do would be to cut out 2/3 of that first sentence. But the essential thing, I think, Ian, is that we take those 3 descriptions of the photos and move them up to the top part, right under main entry. So the shared office space or whatever they've got there. And you change the wording on the utility infrastructure.
Okay, let me just,
You know, it doesn't explicitly say police station anywhere in that.
We added
We're
that.
gonna add that.
Main police station entry.
Basement.
We added that in our.
Oh, okay.
we-
Yeah.
I think we didn't put main, we just said police station entry.
Yes,
Back-
okay,
Okay.
get rid of
Yeah.
main police station entry, correct.
Yeah.
And then right directly below there, we're gonna have the description of the photos.
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and
Yes.
3.
Yeah.
And then after that, what language do we have after that? Is that where we're gonna put both buildings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you can keep those last
me
two
what you want me to
sentences for
write.
sure, but I didn't know what anybody thinks about putting in the appropriate security measures, I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Both buildings
Lack,
lack appropriate security measures. Is measures the right word?
Yeah.
Okay. Fail to meet industry and professional standards.
I'm writing this down. Okay, all right. Okay, so, I'm sorry, Chris.
No, you're
Start
fine.
over from the beginning then. Both
Okay.
buildings,
Lack appropriate security measures. Fail to meet industry and professional standards.
yep.
And don't support employee recruitment or retention.
That works.
I think that works. I mean, so once you've got the 3 photos listed there, then you've got a bit of a space,
Yeah,
and then this long sentence, if you will,
right.
sums up the whole
brochure.
the whole thing, I think, right? It
Yes.
feels like it does.
Okay.
So Chief, there does need to be a space between the photo descriptions
I
and
just
that
wrote
final.
space. Yep.
Yeah, great. Okay,
So one other question would be just on the garage photo. Do we like that garage photo? Does that tell you what you wanted to say, Ian? Unsafe garage? I don't know if that knows what I'm looking at for sure, but. I mean, that's the Sally Port, right, or lack thereof.
Well, it can't be used as a sally port and it's very tight. It would be unsafe to use as a sally port. We wouldn't be able to use it as a sally port. So,
Is it unsafe or is it inadequate?
I think inadequate is probably a better word, but we have that Do we have that or somewhere else?
Yeah, right above it, inadequate
Yeah.
utility infrastructure.
Yeah, so I agree with you, Chris, but I wonder if we can come up with something other than inadequate.
Change around to garage inadequate for Sallyport or staff. It's a picture of garage, and
Mhm.
it also tells them that we don't have a functioning Sallyport. Begin that last photo line with garage. Inadequate.
Or garage not, oh, I just lost the word.
Garage space not suited for Sallyport.
Not suitable for
Does
Sallyport.
anybody know what
Yes.
Sallyport is?
That's true.
It was on one of the quizzes. It was on the second
Yeah.
quiz.
I had to look it up when I first started.
Go back and
Me
look.
too. Yes. Oh, I mean, it's over years.
So the fact that it just refers to detainees might be for detainee transfer?
Yeah, that would be, and it
Yeah.
is not suitable for detainee transfer.
There you go.
Garage not suitable
Yeah.
for detainee transfer?
There you go.
Are we good there?
Now you're talking.
Close enough.
Now you're cooking with gas.
That's a little bit better. Yeah.
No, if I can get all this right, I think I got it though. I know I got it, we're good. All right, so are we, at this point, are we all set with that?
I hope so.
I do too, because I don't have many more rooms for everything that's scratched out.
Oh, come on, chief.
The two first fire department pictures, the door and the space there, they're actually older pictures. That's engine 4, and that's actually moved to a different base. So that it's showing the passenger door, it's actually the driver's door now that is, you can't open all the way. And then the same with the space there, the space will be on the driver's side, not the passenger side. So what I can do is I can take new pictures and send them to Ian, and it'll be the same picture, they're just kind of reversed. So,
I mean, you have the option one day to switch to fire trucks again? This isn't...
no. No, because that bay there is our locker room now in brush truck. In that picture. So,
Let me ask you this, chief, is it still the same
yeah.
issue?
Deficiency.
So,
It's just different trucks, but just,
well, these are just older pictures from the 2015 time that went for the station.
all right.
Well, would you like to substitute them? Would you feel better about accuracy?
Right. If you want it accurate, I can get you the correct pictures. Otherwise, I mean, they're fine. They show the same
Same problem.
problem. So,
I think it would be a matter of timing if you can get them.
Yeah. I mean, I can go over there right, after this and take the pictures and send them to them. So,
I mean, part of the issue that you were describing the other night is that the trucks have got to pull out so that when they're in their turnout gear, the driver at least has got to put it on outside, right?
right. So,
This one, this first photo really shows that the door can't open.
right, but that's the passenger door,
Correct, but
where
that-
now it's the driver's side door that you
Right,
can't open
which
like
is
that.
actually even more important, isn't it? That the driver has to
Right.
Yeah.
get out without being dressed.
So,
So it's gonna be this photo that's gonna get exchanged and that photo right there?
right.
Okay.
Okay, so that is
Yeah,
your
the ambulance
task.
stays the same.
Okay, so that's your task, chief.
Okay, I can handle that.
Okay.
You sure you don't want to show your water coming up to the floor?
Oh,
That was pretty
It's
effective in the
actually,
video.
it's actually dry now.
Really?
It
So,
was pretty effective in the video.
yeah, one of the day crew there, they moved the ambulance and they squeegee it out. So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it can be hard to see how this is all.
I mean, they'll see the video, hopefully.
We're beating this dead horse to death. But,
Now, on the, On the town page, is there a counter on how many people look at the video?
Haven't totally got everything on the page yet, but we're looking at the video. I think you figured it out?
128 views on the forum, 388 on the tours.
That's good.
That's better than attendance
I'm
at the forum.
Well, I probably have about 10% of those clicks.
Is that true?
Like, check it every day. So.
Oh, well,
But we're also trying to figure out with Megan and Dan as to how many clicks come to the public safety page or any page, just to see how much the website's being used. And so we've got to figure that analytic out. We haven't tracked that yet.
I'm sorry I couldn't be part of the forum. Are we collectively?
You were there.
Well, yeah, are we collectively encouraged or happy?
well, we're going to move on to
Yes.
that next. That's our to discuss.
Yes.
So, anyone like to lead a discussion?
Is Ian
on-
all set with this? You okay?
Yeah, well, let's hope we're all set. Are we good?
Yep.
So next on the agenda is to review the forum. And Barry, we are sorry that you weren't there in person, but we were glad to have you on the video. Comments?
I thought it went well. I was very pleased with HKT's presentation. I think
Yeah.
They did a very nice job.
I thought you did a good
I
job.
think the MC did a very nice job.
Right.
Yes. I particularly liked how at the end of her presentation, she went over how the anticipated costs are gonna be for the next several years. I think that was very important to show.
And pre-COVID costs and, yeah.
Yeah, that was Mark Mancino's suggestion to get that information out there, and I actually think that was one of the most important slides, and one that we need to use. That bit of information, we need to figure out how to use over and over
And the
again.
cost of doing nothing, I think is how she put it.
Yeah.
Delayed and very expensive.
But also to let people understand why it is
Right.
now so much.
Right.
I was disappointed, very disappointed with attendance.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a very good presentation. Everybody thinks the video was terrific, is terrific, and I agree, HKT did a very, very good job, and the signboards are great.
Yeah, signboard would be great. We got to find the, yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah, we'll come to where to place those, but,
Yeah. I mean, the presentation, the video itself was 20, 25 minutes. The presentation itself was a good 35-ish. So people were, they sat through it, but that's a long attention time.
Yeah.
And we gave people a little bit of break. And so some people left at
Yep.
the break and then others stayed for question and answers.
Right.
But
I was pleased that generally the comments and questions were positive.
Yeah.
We didn't get any negative pushback.
No.
I think some people were really appalled at what they saw. They just
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Well, it conveyed, the video
It did.
conveyed it, and I wonder on the website after the video, could it be written or said that to see for yourself, I think we should advertise the fact that people can actually see the stations themselves, and I think it would be good to reinforce that at the end of the video.
We could
That's a-
say that we'll be setting up tour dates or something like that, right? Or we can add a
See for yourself tour dates
Yes, tour dates to be announced or something like that. I mean, I can easily write that in if you want.
Sure.
I think that would be a good idea. So a takeaway would be that we've got to figure out how to get our public interested in this building.
I think that overwhelmingly the public's is in support of a public safety complex, but I have concerns over how much it is. I do.
But this is the reality, so we have to... What do we have to do?
I don't know. I looked into Lee a little bit more, and it's 2 stories, it has more bays. I don't understand why, I just don't, I can't put my head around as to why we're at the same level as them.
And how many square feet is it? Did you find that out?
Yes, it's about 10,000 square feet more.
So it's more. It's already built though, right? Or no, it's not
it's been through
built.
the first phase and went through their annual town meeting in December. They voted for it. So and we were trying to be as cost effective as possible.
Well, these are projected costs, so maybe somebody else was projected, I mean, obviously somebody else. Can there be such a difference in projected costs depending on the firm that's projecting the cost?
It can be. Most firms, they will hire a cost estimator.
Right.
I used to do cost estimates, but that became such a liability issue that now they have professional cost estimators because that's such an important number, and if it's really bad, there's consequences to be paid for. So you can't have a second cost estimator, but I'm assuming, my experience is most of the time the architect's numbers are fairly accurate.
Can you provide any kind of an explanation of why there might be such a...
So you're saying that the Lee was 10,000 feet more, but the price was
It's
somewhere-
essentially the same.
same price?
$875 a square foot compared to 1,300 and something a square foot.
Yeah,
for each.
that to me is,
That included soft costs and gross square footage.
Yeah.
in that number.
Again, we have to be careful, I think, in terms of the square footage and the costing, right? Because that was the problem we had with the old building here, with the net square foot versus the gross square foot.
Now, this was gross square foot and soft costs included in that price.
For Lee?
Mhm.
No,
no,
So
it's,
it's like 37%.
Lee is just now approved for construction or approved for design,
That was construction and design.
construction and design.
looking on the
As
website,
well
I don't
as-
see anything about it.
As well as, it also included something to do with the removal or the removal of their PBW. So their town article says to vote to appropriate $36,700,000 or any other amount for the purpose of designing, engineering, constructing, equipping a public safety facility, related demolition of existing facilities, cost of relocating the public works department to another street, and for payment of all other costs related.
Wow.
And then this is a rendering. This is the rendering of it.
It looked like the first rendering.
Yeah.
Where does it come?
Has there been any discussion about selling, once this is built, selling either of these existing buildings and getting some money from that to offset some of the building costs?
There has been none, and that has not, that's premature, I think, because we have no idea when those will become vacant. It would be my impression that we couldn't really sell, given that it's in the parking lot of the town hall, that we would sell this. I'm not sure, but it has, in the past, it has been talked about how this one could be reused for storage or whatever. And there has been no pursuit really of what will happen to the town hall. It could be sold as what, we don't know. The, help me with your Chester officer's name, lieutenant maybe? Is he a lieutenant?
Dave Niels?
Yeah, is he a lieutenant?
He's a sergeant. Yeah.
Sergeant,
Yes,
sergeant,
yeah.
okay. So he's from Chester, and one day when I had to go in there and upstairs, he escorted me because they don't trust me in there alone.
That's not true. We're required to, Christine.
I know you are. And he was quite fascinated up on the 3rd floor to see the proscenium and the guts of the old building there, and he was showed great enthusiasm because the he said it's very, very much like the former Chester Town Hall, which is now quite a successful theater.
Yeah, right.
And so, ideally, it will eventually go back to being an auditorium. That's what I would love to see it be. But short of that, I mean, it could be restored to its original condition. It was chopped up in the 60s to put that ceiling in and be broken up into more offices, but there's nothing can be done as long as the police, so as long as we have no definitive plan for the police.
That would be after the fact anyway. I was just
Yeah.
trying to think of some way to get a chunk of money.
I don't, that's not.
But with whatever you found out about Lee, is this worth sharing with HKT?
HKT, that's what I was going to say. How about if we send this information to HKT for their comment?
I think it's worth a shot to see, maybe they can give an explanation that we can.
See if the other guys made some kind of error or...
Yeah, I mean, the cost per square foot leads from different. I mean, just to go back on my previous statement, that I've seen 1,000 estimates, and then when you go out to bid, you'll get, bids will go from A to C, I mean, if you were, so it is an estimate. They call it an estimate of probable cost. They usually call them cost estimates, but so prices can vary drastically depending on the contractors who bid on it and how many people bid on it. So,
Do you think that the fact that they're out east has any influence on costs?
it may be they're so accustomed to Boston and area. That's, Boston is one of the most expensive places to live in the country right now.
That's true.
But even,
Didn't take into account the regional cost.
Maybe that's a question that can be asked to HKT. Did they take into account regional costs? We do need some explanation of why there's such a difference, because we're running neck and neck with them. And
so according to this article, in December, it went to town meeting
Yes.
for 36 million.
Yes, 36,700,000.
For 37,000 square feet. So ours is how much square feet?
26.
26.
And this is 2 stories, so it's also stairs, stairwells, and elevators, which they said would add a lot to the cost. So that's a difference
I
too.
saw it was, when I went down the list, it was 33 million.
Well, in the newspaper article, it says 37.
In the town warrant says 36,700,000. That's what the town warrant actually
So
said.
that was the
But
town meeting.
I
And
was looking at the fire and police department, and I don't know if some of that included the
Oh, the relocation costs?
relocation
Yes,
costs.
yeah,
of the,
yeah. Oh, I follow you, yeah.
I
yeah,
was just looking at the public safety.
yeah. Has it come again to the town?
So that's still about
Election yet?
$1,000 a square foot.
I don't believe it has.
That's crazy.
So they got it through town meeting, but that's what they have. Okay.
Definitely ask HKT.
Yeah, will you
I
reach
think
out
it's worth
to HKT?
Sharing that with them and saying, hey, look, we gotta, compare things that are in our neighborhood, at least. And actually, Chief Fasoli and I went to a fire association meeting a couple days ago.
Last Friday.
And it was retired Chief Motter
Mater,
from East Hampton,
right.
who suggested that we go visit Ware, because he said that's an interesting one where it's got a facade, if I understood this correctly. The facade is brick looking, it makes it think it looks like ours, but really behind the brick is really that quote unquote
Ashburnham has the same thing.
Morton building.
Yeah.
So he thought it would be worth a while to go visit and just get some information about Ware. Now, I don't know, I've never been there, but I thought about it. And he did caution us on the West Hampton one, and I don't know if you've spoken to Steve Holt anymore, but from what Chief Motter said, that one is already in a cost, or went into a cost overrun before they even put their shovels in the ground. And they hadn't done a good commissioning of the building apparently when they handed it over.
I think they were trying to cut as many corners as
Yeah.
possible.
So now they're
Williamsburg as well.
paying for it, I think.
And
yeah.
Williamsburg can't even fit their certain vehicles in their garage.
Right.
In a brand new complex.
So I think I think we have to be cautious and good stewards of town money,
Mhm.
taxpayers' money, but I think we ought to be careful to not make those same mistakes.
Right.
So, but I just wonder if we really need to, as we talk about next steps, whether we need to plan a visit someplace.
Well, we've been invited both to Williamsburg and to West
Yeah.
Hampton. So I, in particular, think it would be a good idea for us to pay a visit to West Hampton to learn the specifics about a prefabricated building, the experience that they had, which I know wasn't good. And maybe we should try, maybe if Ware is a prefab building with a facade, that would be another place to visit to learn what experience with the prefab.
Yeah. I got the
Structure
impression that
is.
the chief thought that Ware was a pretty good facility. That's the impression I got from him. I didn't, you live nearby, you seen it? Do you know
I
it?
see it quite frequently. It's a nice facility. I've never been inside, but you can tell because it's on different elevations. So the top part is like administrative offices, and then if you look around back, you have like all the bays and things like that. So it's kind of separated. I've never been inside, but it does look nice.
What's the construction date of that?
2011, I think.
Oh, it's 2011, that's a while ago. So.
Yes, 15 years.
Going back to about asking HKT, they owe us a final report, and that's the limit of our obligation, or their obligation to us.
Let me, before we answer that, is there another
Public
meeting?
safety, has got a meeting?
No, that's us.
Ad hoc check. Yeah.
Are we, can we tie up, or should we
I'll just see
ask?
if there's another option for them to go downstairs, I don't know. If there's another meeting or not. They usually meet on Zoom, I think they're first.
Yeah, because it used to be downtown, right on the street. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the room booked at 6 o'clock, guys.
All right.
Well, so, Mark, restate your question or comment.
Oh, my question, if we're going to ask HKT about, what's the difference in price, that's sort of been in their final report.
Oh, final report.
Yeah, they send us a draft final report, and we comment on it. We have things a little bit out of schedule, but I think that's the last ticket.
I think so. I think so. We have to supply them with task 7 to include in the final report, but I think once the final, well, they have committed to attending the town meeting that,
So on the invoice they just sent.
This is the final invoice. Pretty sure this is.
Can't be, we can't pay for, without a report first.
Unless they consider their PowerPoint final report.
that's right.
Oh, the remaining would be 34,000. So no, this is not the final. The current invoice is 77,000, and then after that, the remaining is 34,645.
I don't know.
No, we have to
Shall we allow them to have this space? All right, so let us please schedule the next meeting. Can we do it in 2 weeks' time, 2 Mondays hence? Could you tell me the date of that?
What date?
May, yeah, 2 weeks from today would be May.
May 6th.
Does that work for?
The day before the town meeting.
Oh, right, the day before the town meeting. Well, do we want that? Do we want to meet next week?
You want to meet after the town meeting?
Or the week after? How, we have a breathing space here now to get word out, given that we are delaying to special town meeting. What is our urgency? Do we want to
Well, Scott and Chris, how would it impact you, really? Because town meeting's gonna impact you guys the most.
Yeah, you'll be very
Is the
busy.
6th gonna be too busy for you?
Yeah.
And I think Scott should be here, and Chris should be here.
I do too. So, okay, good suggestion, Mark. So
The
now,
week after,
Put it in
13th.
next week?
next week or 3 weeks?
No, because then we run into town election and, I mean, the week after, oh, I'm sorry, next week, like in next week, not. next week
Yeah,
after
so I'm
town meeting,
asking
sorry.
the 29th
Never mind.
Right.
or May 6th plus 7, 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I guess it depends what we have to do to get HKT moving on, whatever they need to be doing, if they need any direction from us.
Well, I did, in my last email to them, I suggested that they let us know what they needed from us.
Yeah,
They have not been in touch. So we do need to, when are we going to try to get this flyer out? As soon as possible, or are we going to wait till after town meeting for that? I would suggest that we don't want to confuse people with this, getting it just before town meeting.
Right.
we've got time after.
Well, we could even mail it out the
Yeah.
8th.
Because the town meeting is really to focus on the land, it has,
Right.
not this.
But still, do we want to have it ready to go out right after town meeting? I'm still trying to set the next meeting.
Yeah,
Shall we meet next week and just,
why don't we meet next week and get organized on that? I
Then
think
we'll get a
we need to
break.
finish test 7
Yeah.
for sure, and be sure that we're good with test
Yeah.
7.
Past 7 weeks.
Schedule some site visits,
Okay.
start thinking about the tours, if we,
Yeah.
we want to set some possible time periods for the tours, or,
all right, so April 29th is our next meeting. Any other business that can't wait?
I won't be able to mention that.
The 29th?
What time?
4:30.
4:30?
Okay, sorry, Mark, but
I'll be in Florida, so.
enjoy yourself.
Good.
Move
Motion
to adjourn.
Yeah.
I move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.